right, welcome everyone. We're here to provide you some details for this year's STEM Symposium. And with me today, we have Rosie Gutierrez, our Math TOA, and Mary Elizabeth Kwan, our Science TOA. And we're going to be going over some of the details and events for this year's STEM Symposium. So right now, it's tentatively scheduled for April 9th, and it's going to be from 7:30 to 1 p.m. at Oaks Middle School. Of course, details can change depending on the current situation. So the events for this year are Math Mania, which used to be the Math Pentathlon. We have Crazy Contraption, and then the Robot Rally Finals.
So our tentative schedule for this day's events, we will start the day with Math Mania events. And so the way we've done this is we've separated it by grade levels. And so students in grades 4th through 6 will compete from 8 to 8:55. And then students in grades 7th through 8th will compete from 9 to 9:55 in these math events. We will have a small little break and then have Robot Rally Finals between 10 and 10:30. And this is for all grade levels. And then we'll follow that with the Crazy Contraption competition that will be held from 10:45 to 1 p.m. And again, this is for all teams as well. This year, due to our current situation, our awards assembly will be held virtually at a later date. And so that will be on April 22nd at 1 p.m. And you will get more details on that as we get closer to that date.
Alrighty, and just some logistics about the main day as a whole. We're going to ask that each site provide at least one teacher who will be responsible for checking students in and out of the event. If you're a K-8 school, it would be beneficial if you had an elementary teacher and a middle school teacher, just to make sure that your teams are both checked in and we can get you checked in a timely manner. Students will not be required to stay for the entire event, but it is the site's responsibility to check students in and out from the event table. Students will check in with their teacher 10 to 20 minutes before their scheduled event and can be released to parents at the teacher discretion after they've completed their event. Events were purposely staggered to allow for all students to participate in all events, as many competitions as they want to.
So we're going to go ahead and get started with some of the Math Mania details. And so again, Math Mania is open to students in 4th through 8th grade. Each site may submit one team of 4 students for each grade level. And so each school site can have up to 5 teams if you're a K-8 school. This year we will be allowing alternates, but only to fill in for sick teammates. Unfortunately, we will not be allowing students to substitute for certain events. I know in the past we've had students jump in for the estimation event or for the mental math event. This year we won't be doing that, just to limit exposure. We also will have students stay in the same room, and so substituting will make it a little bit harder. So alternates will be allowed, but again, only for to fill in at the beginning of the event. And then, like I said, math events will take place in the one room, and so students won't have to be rotating into different rooms, and so that'll remove some of that transition time. And this year, the math event will consist of 3 different competitions, and so we'll have a problem-solving / logic event that students will be working on together as a team. We will also have estimation like we have in the past, and students will have 5 different estimation stations that they'll have to complete. And then the last one is mental math. This year, to make graded a little bit more streamlined, all students will be using Google Forms to submit responses. And so if you would like to practice, Google Forms with your students, that would be an awesome thing. So for problem solving, logic, and estimation, we will collect 1 form per team. And so you may want to consider having maybe a team captain or somebody designated to be in charge of submitting the scores for the entire team. For mental math, every single student will submit their own Google form, and then we will be taking the average score for the team. And so you may want to practice with your kiddos on how to just fill out a Google form, be comfortable with submitting it, and that kind of things with the Google form platform. So for problem-solving logic, students will have about 15 minutes. They will have anywhere between 14 and 19 questions to answer. These problems are a combination of word problems taken straight out of the Eureka Math curriculum. And then I've also pulled some math puzzles from the internet as well. Teams will work together to solve these problems, but like I said, only one team member will be entering those responses on Google Forms. And then we will have an award for the grade level winner for problem-solving and logic. Estimation will be about 10 minutes. They will get about 2 minutes per estimation event. So they have 5 different estimation problems that they will have to do. Teams will get to see this time a slide on the board, so they won't actually have an actual thing to hold. So they'll have to see a slide on the board. They'll have 2 minutes to come up with their team estimation, and again, the one team member will submit the response on a Google form. Estimation can include distance, height, quantity, and again, we will have the award for the grade level winner for this one. Mental math, we're doing a little bit different because we are doing it on Google Forms. So instead of using a sprint like we have in the past, students will have 1 minute to do sort of a practice quiz that will consist of about 25 problems. After the 1 minute quiz, they will have about 3 minutes to work together as a team to come up with any patterns or any tips that they can help each other with. And then the actual final mental math assessment will be a 2-minute quiz on Google Forms. It's actually about 45 questions. I do not expect students to finish all 45 questions. That's just there in case we have a super quick student or anybody that, might get that far. Again, like I said earlier, we're going to take the average team score for this, and we will have an award for the grade level winner.
That each team will check into. And then, as usual, we'll have extra materials available for students to use during the build. And just a reminder, those are not made to be part of the plan. They are there in case you need to make adjustments to the machine. Let's go ahead and change that. There we go. This year's task for the crazy contraption is going to be to put a disposable mask into a trash container. Now you get to decide which type of disposable mask you use and which trash container you use. Also, we will have extra disposable masks available in case there's an issue with yours. There is a crazy contraption handbook available. We'll send you the link. We'll send you the link in this slide deck, but also that will be posted on the STEM Symposium website. And teams have the option of using Ozobots this year, but it will be judged in the creative use of coding and theme awards. So we folded in that special award for the Ozobot use into the creative use of coding and theme. So teams will be judged for 3 awards: the machine performance and reliability, teamwork and planning, and the creative use of coding and theme. And I really highly suggest that you look at the Crazy Contraption Handbook for all of the details, because this, again, is just our highlights. So that will be made available to you after the session. And then we have one more slide. There we go. Changes to the competition this year. I just want you to be aware, if you've competed in the past, we've changed a few things, and that's why it's really important to take a look at that handbook. We have changed the task this year. So usually we're catching the Ozobot. This year we're putting a mask in the trash can. We've changed the build time a little bit. We used to have 2 hours. We have 1.5 hours of build time now and a half hour for judging. The number of team members was reduced, and that was just to reduce the number of students in the same place at the same time for COVID restrictions. We have material station checkout will be different. I'll go over that a little bit in some of our pre-meetings so that you guys know how that works. Judging, there will be some judging happening during builds. For the category of creative use of coding and theme, they will be judging that early. They're going to be judging the teamwork early, and they're going to be judging the plan and the presentation as the students are building. So the judges will be circulating the entire time so that the run time is reduced to just that half hour. And then we used to do that fun run at the end where families could come in. Because of COVID, we can't have families in the room anymore. We can't have families on campus. So what we're going to do is, as the judging is happening, we are also going to have that mentor who's monitoring the students go ahead and tape a fun run so that we can share that out with the families after the event. So this year we're including Robot Rally. I'm going to hand it over to Jeff.
All right, so like Mary Elizabeth said, Robot Rally is now included in the STEM Symposium. We are going to be doing things a little bit different. So we're going to be going to each school prior to the STEM Symposium to conduct what we call a roadshow. So for all participating school sites, we're going to do essentially a mini tournament, and we're going to determine the winner for each site. So these will take place in March, and then early April if we need to accommodate for specific school schedules. And then the final tournament will be at the STEM Symposium at Oaks, and the roadshow winners will be in the final 16. So the final tournament, like I said, we'll have 16 teams total, and this will be a best 2 out of 3 against the opponent that you're playing. So it's not a one and done and you're out of the building. You get at least 2 matches so that you can, if something happens with your robot or it doesn't start, you're going to have ample opportunity to fine tune it. The rules are going to be kind of changing because each school site has a different number of teams. So for example, we might have one school site that only has 4 teams for the roadshow, and we might have another site that has 60. So the rules will be a little bit different for each specific site. Chris Cadwara did send out a sign-up form to collect information on the number of teams at your school site. If the coaches have not filled that out, we need you to do that as soon as possible so that we can create schedules for the roadshow. So all of the rules and the updates will be posted on our EdTech website, which I'll give you the address there in a minute here. So if you're new to the Robot Rally, or if you're wondering, the basic rules, when your robot falls off the table, then the other robot would win. But in general, you start side by side as determined by the judge, and then if there's a restart that's necessary, so if the robots are not looking like anyone's going to win, or no one's going to get pushed off the table, or even if a robot doesn't move, you do get a restart, and then you would flip them in the opposite direction. And then, if you need to go to a second restart, you go back to back. A third restart, you would remove the color sensor. So you want to adjust your coding as necessary. And then if it needs to go past a third restart, then you would go back to the starting point. So this is kind of a basic rundown of what a match might look like. And like I said before, in the final tournament, it will be best 2 out of 3. And even when we come to the school sites, your teams will be guaranteed more than one match. So like I was saying earlier, all of our rules will be posted for the sumo competition this year. This will be the only competition that we're having this time around. And so on our website, we have the sumo challenge rules currently posted, and you can review those if you need to get specifics. And then, of course, the form from Chris Cadwara was emailed to you, but it also is available on our EdTech website. You can see there's the direct link, omsd.net/edtech. You can also get to it through Symbaloo on the curriculum and instruction website. So make sure you get your teams in there. We'd rather have those ahead of time so we can create schedules, get stickers for your teams, and get that roadshow on the calendar for March, because things are coming very quickly, and we can either do this tournament in the middle of your school day or even after. We want to accommodate whatever works best for you. So, if you have any questions on this, like Rosie will show us in a minute, you can contact myself. And if you have questions about the other events, then you can contact, of course, Rosie or Mary Elizabeth.
All right, so like Jeff said, we know there's going to be tons of questions. And so if you have any Math Mania questions, you can contact me. Our emails are there. For Crazy Contraption, Mary Elizabeth is the lead, so you can contact her. And then for Robot Rally, we do have Jeff Quick on the form here, but like he said, you can also contact Chris if anything. And then for any pending questions, or if you would just like to join us and hear us out, or maybe you prefer to talk to us in person, we will also have a Q&A session next week on Wednesday, February 16th at 3 p.m. So it'll be after school. The Zoom session information is there on the screen for you. And so if you'd rather just ask us in person, feel free to join us and we will answer all the questions that we can there. All right, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you on April 9th for our STEM Symposium.